Hello, this demonstration video is to provide guidance for the proper way to factory reset a Kevo lock. The Kevo locks that we're referring to here are second generation Kevo, Weiser locks, Kevo Contemporary like this one, as well as Baldwin Evolved. So we're going to use the quick set contemporary lock for this demonstration. And look at the back. This lock is mounted on a stand, as you can see here. And the first thing we're going to do is remove the back from the lock. So with a Phillips head screwdriver, I'm going to remove the two screws on either side of the lock body on the back. There's actually a third on the bottom often, not on this stand, but it's underneath here. So now we're going to remove the back cover to expose the back of the lock. And the first thing we're going to do is remove the battery pack from the lock. And after we do that, we're going to press the program button 2-3 times. That's to make sure that all the energy's been discharged from the system. And while we're on the subject of batteries, I want to make sure you're always using AA alkaline batteries, preferably like Duracell or Energizer brand. Don't ever try to use rechargeable batteries. They will not work properly. So the next step we're going to do, this is the hardest part of this whole process. And it's related to, and it uses the two buttons that are here on the back. There's the A button, and there's a B button. These are actually plastic tabs that are in this little enclosure here. And when you press on these tabs, they press down buttons that are on the electronics board that's behind that. And so I'm just describing it briefly so you get an understanding of what needs to be done. What we're going to do is we're going to press and hold both of these buttons down simultaneously. And at the same time we do that, then we're going to insert the battery pack. Kind of hard to do sometimes, but on the lock stand at least I can keep it pretty rigid. So you'll see how I do it. This is not the way you would probably do it when it's mounted on a door. I'm going to take the battery pack and I'm going to suspend it over the area where the battery pack goes in, and I'm going to press and hold the A and B button, and you really need to press them firmly. And when the battery pack is inserted, we're going to continue to hold those buttons down for a 12-second count. So here we go. Batteries down. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007, 1008, 1009, 1010, 1011, 1012. So release the buttons. And now let's just watch, because when we inserted the battery, the lock beeped. We're trying to trigger the factory reset for the lock. If we've done it correctly, within a few seconds, you should see the LEDs on the front of the lock light up like you're seeing now. Now in Contemporary, Kevo Contemporary and Baldwin Evolved, the LED is actually a bar, and the colors actually strobe through these different kind of rainbow colors. In the case of a Kevo 2 lock, the LED is basically a round circle that goes around the capacitive sense portion of the front of the lock, and it'll spin an amber color. But Kevo Contemporary, it's a bar, right? So now once the lights have completed, like you just saw there, factory reset is actually finished. So now we're going to go back to the back side of the lock. And now with our app, we're going to open up the Kevo app, pardon me. And open up the Kevo app. And we're going to go to add a lock. And we're going to pair a device. And we're going to select the particular lock type. This is something you did a long time ago when the lock was first installed. So we're going to pick the particular type of lock. And in this case, it's Kevo Contemporary. And now we're going to press the program button to enroll the lock and add it. Now we need to name the lock. Now it's important here to not use the exact same name you had originally, because you'll get an error when you do that. So we're just going to put in this case, I'm just going to put demo. And there we go. Now, having factory reset the lock, that puts the firmware version of the lock back to what it came out of the box with when it was brand new. So there's always going to be a firmware update available. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. And we hit continue, press the program button again. And this is now going to, over Bluetooth, this is what's happening. The Kevo app is communicating with the lock to send it updated software / firmware for the lock to update it to the latest generation, latest version. With the firmware update nearing completion, I've unpaused the video so we can see how it finishes up. Once all of the firmware code has been transferred over the lock to update it, it'll show 100%. And at this point, the lock itself is actually applying to the new version of firmware that's been sent to it. And the app is sitting here waiting for that to complete. This part of the process takes just, I believe it's around 90 seconds or so. After the app is finished waiting for the lock to come back and be updated, it's going to communicate with the lock again over Bluetooth to confirm that the update has finished successfully. And sure enough, it's now reported, update complete, and now done. So we're going to tap on done. Back to the My Lock and UniKey screen, we're going to go ahead and open up the lock dashboard for the lock. And we'll tap on the lock control. That's communicating over Bluetooth between the app on the phone and the lock itself. And now, just as a final check, let's make sure that touch to open on the lock is working correctly. And sure enough, it is. So that's demonstrating the entire process of factory resetting the lock, re-enrolling it, adding it back into your account, updating the firmware to it, and then verifying everything works correctly. Now, if you have a gateway in your environment, the gateway association should come back within a few minutes, so you can then control your lock remotely as well. Thank you.